Mother's Day was this is my first Mother's Day without my mom. My mom died about 6 months ago. We lost her to cancer, so grief is a daily challenge. Life has its foot on my neck and my
Mm,
his neck, so I'm trying to be grateful for people like you and to remind myself of why I write and to keep writing. Because last year was pretty rock bottom for me all around. But, I'm doing my best, which I don't know what that means on a given day sometimes, but, I'm doing the best with everything. Yeah.
and that's the most we can do sometimes, right? But I hear you, I see you, and I haven't talked to you, but I'm sending all my love and condolences to you and your family because I haven't I still am lucky to have my mom in my life, but I know individuals who don't, and I can only imagine, some of the thoughts, the processing that's happening with you. Something about Black females, and you speak about this very often in a lot of the work that you do. Um, can you share a little bit about? And when you talk about her, I think specifically about one of your stories about when she's knocking on the door, and I think I want to say it's Houston. I think maybe.
Yes. Thank you again. Yeah, I'm thinking you're talking about. There's an essay in my new book. I finally bought some Jordans where, after I left New York, after like 7 years, I was there during the plague when Harlem was like the epicenter of the virus at one point. So it was a lot of sirens, a lot of death, a lot of sickness. And generally speaking, I had already felt like my time in New York had come to pass. So I left and went back to Houston for a while. I didn't realize I did it until after the fact, but I was kind of foreshadowing. I think in the last couple of
Mm,
years, I've lost a lot of people. So I realized how time was so precious and that I wanted to be closer to my mom. So I ended up being there about, I can't remember the exact number of months, maybe like 6 to 8, something like that. But in any event, I was out in the Airbnb that I had rented out for a while, and Texas had a snowstorm, but because of the governor and some other stuff, Texas has its own grid, and the grid failed. So I was freezing. I did not have any battery, but there was no water. It was pretty bad for like 3 to 4 days. There was one point I was like, I can't feel all my toes, and I really was in limited contact with my mom. And my mom, she didn't care how old I was. She's like, no, I'm gonna go get my baby. So at one point, I begin the chapter saying, basically I was about to defecate in the bag because no plumbing, and I hear a
mhm.
bang on the door, and it's my mom, all 5'4" of her, I think, 6. I'm messing up her height, but she's short. Banging on the door with a big flashlight, to like, come on, I'm coming to come get you. We got power at the house because I hadn't had contact with her in like it probably had been more than 24 hours, and yeah, my mom didn't play that.
Mhm.
And I'm 30, I don't know, late 30s. She's like, okay, come on, get ready, let's go, let's go, let's go. And so I got up and went with her. And but just I'm glad I shared that because that's just kind of a testament to my mom. She didn't care how old her children were. Her babies are her
Mhm.
babies.